wanted to it's not really a blog, it's not going to be a regular thing, but I wanted to talk to you about losing weight. You might want to not listen to me considering, you know, how fat and chubby I am, but on the other hand, I am trying to lose weight and doing well so far. Have done in the past, and I do know a few little tips. So I thought I'd share some with you. Perhaps I will, yeah. I have to say I'm drinking whilst we are at it. I don't know if I can show you this or not. This is nettle tea. You can see that it's actually it's basically a green tea. It smells like hay, like dried hay. The trick with these sort of teas, which are basically classed as fruit or herbal teas, is what you do is you pour the water on as soon as it's boiled. Basically, it should still be bubbling as you pour it out, and then you leave it. You leave it to stew. In fact, you shouldn't really drink it until it's lukewarm, so I would suggest leaving it for like 5 or 10 minutes and then more or less drinking it really quickly. What happens then is that the tea bag has a lot of time to release its flavour. Otherwise, what you basically get is hot water with a hint of something that's just not very nice. I think in my weekly video blog from now on I'm going to do a herbal tea of the week. So we're going to start with nettle herbal tea. This is actually Clippers, and Clippers is quite a good brand. It's a good brand because it's basically a fair trade brand. But you can get 20 Clipper tea bags for £1.45 in ABC of Health, and that's in town. You can also get it quite cheaply. I think it's £1.50, something like that, in Asda, and the local supermarkets are likely to be similar. So it's one of the cheaper ones because you can unfortunately spend quite a lot on this sort of thing. I'm not suggesting that at all, but one of the things that you will find is that when you feel like you're hungry, at least half the time, what you're actually doing is you're thirsty and you're dehydrated, and you can't really tell the difference. It's always better to have a drink first anyway, because that does tend to just fill one up. It's got like a sort of malty taste. It's really weird. It's really weird. It's really weird. It smells a bit like hay as well. It's nice. It's nice. I would recommend. Well, I don't know about recommend, but I would drink nettle tea. I would have no problem with that. Now it's certainly not stingy, so so that's good. Anyway, so general tips then. So far, I have heard things like you should drink a lot of water, and by that, it's generally thought best to drink completely plain water, although you can drink fizzy water, which is the carbonated sparkling water, which I like best because it reminds me of a fizzy drink, even though it's not, if that makes sense, because there are parts that a fizzy Coke reaches that normal plain soft drinks just don't. Often if I'm drinking water on its own, will drink sparkling water. You're supposed to drink quite a lot of it, and the reason for that is that one of the things that people don't seem to understand is if you lose weight, what you have to do is you have to burn the fat. If you have to burn the fat, you basically have to have a solution in which to burn that fat, and water is a key component in the chemical reaction that burns fat. It also produces even more water, so you do find yourself pissing rather a lot. But there we are, there we are. Don't forget this is lukewarm now, because I've had this in the cup for, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. So that's why I'm drinking it like that. I suggest you do that. It's worth waiting for, because I can tell that if I just quickly drunk this as soon as I pour the water on, you wouldn't get the full flavour. you have to basically stew these types of teas in order to get enough flavour for it not to be like hot water. Let me think something else. I'm trying to think of little facts I know about losing weight. Oh yes. So when you first start to lose weight and you first burn clean, you'll find it incredibly difficult but also incredibly rewarding, because every week you will do reasonably well. You'll have a few mistakes maybe. You'll go to the weighing scales at the end of the week and find, oh my god, I've lost like 5 or 6 pounds. And that is water weight, okay? So for the first month, if you burn clean, you're likely to lose quite a lot quite quickly. It's only water weight, okay? It's not, even to the best of my knowledge, proper burning of fat. You're unlikely to change shape, even though your weight goes down. And unfortunately, if you then stop, it will just add back on almost straight away, because it's literally just water. And water, if you've ever picked up a watermelon, weighs a hell of a lot, actually. So that's something to note. After about a month, suddenly you will find you have made absolutely no difference. And one week you've lost 6 pounds, and the next week you haven't lost anything. And that's when you know that you've hit the barrier, you've lost your water weight, and then you're into actually burning fat reserves. And that is difficult, different, and requires you to change things sort of substantially. I haven't got there yet, but I have got there in past times when I've lost weight. It's quite regular for me to lose weight for a month, do quite well, and then stop because I can't go any further, because I can't be asked. But now this is all different. We are going to do it from now on. So the reason I'm doing it is really medical. You know, there are 3 reasons that people lose weight. They lose weight because they think they are fat, and a lot of people do that. Are not fat at all. You get a lot of women that are like that, and the goal is to lose a bit of weight, but it doesn't matter if it comes back on, because it's an endless sort of yo-yo cycle. The other area in which you find people lose weight is because they are depressed that they are not what they want to be, and you know, that is of moderate success, because crash dieting, for example, doesn't work. You don't eat, you lose lots of weight, you start eating, and guess what? You put all the weight back on. It's not healthy, and it doesn't work. But in the same way, some people use that as motivation, and they do really well. The trick is, the third reason that most people lose weight, is medical, and that's basically mine. I look fat, but trust me when I say that I carry my weight rather well, and I am heavier than I look, if that's even possible. And because of my age, in the next few years I'm going to head into danger ages for illnesses that are triggered by being overweight and fat. So we're losing weight. We're having an endless battle, as I've probably told you, in terms of trying to get a dietitian on the NHS. I will talk about that in a later thing, but that is part of this. I feel like I know I am the heaviest I've ever been now, and that's saying something. And I also know that I need to lose weight, medically speaking, because in the next 10 years I'm going to have real problems if I don't. I should already be having real problems, but I'm not yet. I'm quite lucky in that respect. The final thing that I want to talk to you about regarding this is the expense. Do you know, fresh fruit and vegetables are so bloody expensive. I have to admit that frozen is a good alternative, because you don't lose any of the goodness. It's cheaper and you can store it longer. Tinned is not so good. That's probably the worst, because it may well be processed and it may well have lost all its goodness anyway. Don't forget to always cook things al dente, because if you boil or steam things too much, you boil all the goodness out of them, and unless you want to drink the water, which I don't suppose you do, not a good idea. Nobody wants to eat mush, do they? So, you know, don't boil things. Undercook veg where possible, except for potatoes. What else? yes, I find, because I spend quite a lot on takeaways, if I don't do that and I do the takeaway at home, and I know that sounds silly, but here we are. You know, a good example, pig out payday, I would maybe get a pizza and cheesy chips at a cost of, with delivery, I don't know, plus £10. Go to the supermarket and you can get a bag of frozen chips, some grated cheese and a pizza, all for about £2 or £3. Okay, you come home, you cook it yourself, but you don't have to pay a delivery fee, and then you are basically having the same thing. You just, you know, melt the cheese on the chips and eat the pizza. Same thing, but it's better for you because it's oven cooked rather than deep fat fried, and B, it saves you money. And my hope is that the money that is saving me is going to be able to let me pay for the fresh fruit, the fresh vegetables, which cost slightly more. So I either come out about the same or maybe a little bit better off, depending on, because some of these takeaways can cost a lot of money, more than investing in the fruit and veg. The other thing I would say is stay away from fruit juice. Just stay away from fruit juice because it's too acidic for your teeth, so it rots them like anything. And if it's from concentrate, it has a lot of sugars in and all sorts. Trust me, look at the calories on the back. You would be absolutely shocked. I often substitute my water with tonic water. Now, cheap tonic water you can get for 45p per litre. And, you know, in the tonic water, it's, I don't know, say 48 calories for the whole lot. They also do a diet tonic water. It's still 45p per litre, 4 calories in that, versus the 48 in the other bottle. They look exactly the same. They taste exactly the same. Always go for the diet if you can. Now, having said that, you know, I would never advocate Diet Coke instead of Coke because I just don't like it. It doesn't taste the same. But it's all about experimenting and then going with the most healthiest and most cheapest you can, without making things absolutely impossible. You know, there has to be some fun in it, there has to be some leeway in it. You know, you do have to have your cheesy chips, say, once a month, even if it's at home, because it's important that this is a lifestyle change as much as a diet. If it's just a diet, forget it, because when you finish the diet, you'll just put all the weight back on and there'll be no point. This is something that you have to do ad infinitum from here on. And so it has to account for weeks where you have huge celebrations, weeks where you feel miserable and maybe you comfort eat. It has to be able to have mechanisms that control that and include that in it without you thinking, oh shit, this is just too bad, and packing it all in. So I've spoken far too much, but at least I have, almost. There we are, finished my nettle tea. That was really nice, you know. And now that I'm absolutely starving, I think I might have another nettle tea.